To be a consul, praetor, tribune, senator, or any other magistrate in the Republic, wealth was a high barrier to entry. It was very expensive to run for office, and if you lost, you could be left broke with no chance to run again. In essence, it was only the rich that could afford to run for office. This meant, generation after generation, Rome's leaders came from the same rich families. It was rare for a man without an aristocratic pedigree to break into politics on his own merit. The Roman Republic was not like modern governments today, where more average citizens have a chance to run and win office. The Republic was controlled by the rich and powerful. Thus, the Republic was not designed to serve the will of the people, but the will of the rich and powerful upper class who ran it. So what were the goals of the Roman upper class? Since they controlled the government, what did they do with that power? Well, they competed with each other. That sounds really weird to us today, but the driving theme of the Republic was competition between politicians. Competition is something you'll want to keep in mind throughout the rest of the series. Roman politicians competed in a great game. That competition, was to prove they were the greatest politician of their day. They wanted to say, I am the richest, I am the most celebrated by the people, I've done more for the Republic than anyone else alive, and most importantly, I am better than you. There were no political parties in Rome. There might be short-term alliances here and there, but ultimately, it was every man for himself, trying to win prestige and respect for him and his family. What Roman politicians competed for was to have the greatest auctoritas of their day. Translated to English, auctoritas means authority, yet means so much more. This is a copy-pasted definition from Wikipedia, but it is legit. Auctoritas referred to the general level of prestige a person had in Roman society, and as a consequence, his clout, influence, and ability to rally support around his will, and symbolized the mysterious power of command of heroic Roman figures. Auctoritas benefited one's family as well. If you came from a famous family that had a lot of prestige and respect, you were more likely to be elected. Auctoritas was political capital. Politicians and their families competed generation after generation for greater auctoritas and prestige than their peers. If you were a Roman politician, to gain greater auctoritas, admiration, and respect from Romans, you had to serve the Republic. You had to
demonstrate your value.
For the Romans, the most expedient way to demonstrate one's value was to win a war. And indeed, what better way to serve the Republic than to conquer an enemy who threatened it? What better way to serve than to plunder enemy lands and use that money to build temples, bathhouses, aqueducts, and other structures that would serve the Roman people and remind them of your greatness? Indeed, what was a better way to prove how much better you were than win a war? Clearly, the Roman upper class who ran the government had a lot to gain by waging war. But why did average Romans partake? Not every soldier would make it out uninjured and alive. Well, Rome was a product of its time. It was not surrounded by pacifist communities in the Italian countryside on a tranquil Mediterranean Sea. Greek states have been prone to expansion for some time, especially after driving the Persians out. You'll remember Roman territory was invaded by King Pyrrhus and later Hannibal of Carthage, so to survive in a land of wolves, Romans would have to be wolves themselves. Average Romans believed war and violence was necessary for their safety, and given the world around them, you can understand why they thought so. Besides this, the Roman soldier who went to war would make a pretty penny. While the commanding general would get the lion's share of the wealth, he shared the spoils of war with his loyal soldiers. That is correct. Soldiers were not being paid by the Republic, but by the man who led them. A soldier's loyalty ultimately wasn't tied to the Republic, but his general, or at least his general's money. This is something you'll want to keep in mind throughout the rest of the series. A charismatic general, who pays his soldiers well, will create an army loyal to him, not the Republic. While we haven't seen a general go renegade with a private army, be sure, examples are coming. So, politicians went to war because they gained money and auctoritas. Average Romans fought because it would secure the Republic's safety, and they would make some money. However, becoming a gigantic territory that surrounded the Mediterranean Sea was not a long-term goal of any politician. Generations of Romans had short-term goals that served the Republic's immediate interest and the individuals who wanted the fame and riches of war. Over centuries, Rome expanded piece by piece until it wound up on 3 continents.